France, Richard Burnett, as Chief Executive of the Road Haulage Association. Mr. Burnett, good morning. Just bring us up to date. The restriction is on lorries leaving the UK, but they can come back from Europe, from France, without restriction at the moment.
Tom, that's absolutely correct. So from Eurotunnel and Dover, we have got restricted access to France, but vehicles that are travelling from Europe to the UK are still allowed to come. I think the concern that we do have, though, is that with it being so close to Christmas, we're looking at 48 hours, at this point in time in terms of the restrictions. We're likely to see Operation Stack building in terms of numbers of vehicles on the UK side. And that might be a deterrent for EU hauliers to want to come so close to Christmas and end up being stranded here. That's part of the challenge that we're facing today.
Just talk through, for those people who don't know, what is Operation Stack? What's happening at the moment on the way down into Kent?
So as you approach both Eurotunnel and the Dover port, when we have restricted flow or the flow stops, then vehicles start to back up and they start to park vehicles on the motorway. I think, what governments are looking at this point in time is actually bringing forward their contingency plans that they got laid out for the new year in terms of transition. And potentially, if we start to see a significant number of vehicles parked on the M20, then we may well actually, open up some of the truck parks in Kent, possibly Manston, in order to take high levels of vehicles as those European hauliers that are going back to Europe, start to build and congest those approaches to both Folkestone and Dover.
What about the threat to the supply of fresh food items in particular, which is what supermarkets are most concerned about? As you say, the big problem, I guess, is that if drivers from France or from other European countries coming across bringing these things are concerned about being caught over here.
That's right, yeah. So I think that the retailers have done a very good job in terms of stock building. Certainly ambient product, there will be plenty of stock, but the fresh food supply, where it's short shelf life and there will be product on its way now, that's where the challenge kind of comes from. But this isn't about worrying or panic buying at this point in time. The retailers will absolutely be assessing their inbound flows this morning, understanding whether or not those flows are actually on the way into the retail distribution centres around the country. I'm sure there will be further reassurance given today that those things are in control, that the stock builds for the first quarter of next year, the transition is probably where the real challenge is going to be.
Just very briefly, Richard, there is some talk in the papers overnight about the French authorities beginning a pre-departure testing system for lorry drivers from the UK. Have you heard anything on that?
That's the first I've heard at this point in time. This is an evolving story. I'm sure there is more that we will hear. I did have a conversation with Grant Shapps last night, and he has assured me that he's working hard with his French counterparts to ensure this issue is resolved as quickly as possible.
Thank you very much. Richard Burnett from the Road Haulage Association.